Hi, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to show you how to add some extra spookiness to your Halloween decorations by using a projector. Let's get started. There are a few different ways to think about using a projector for decorations. First is the normal way that you would expect to use a projector, and that is that if you have a projector and it's projecting an image onto a surface like a screen, and so the people are looking at it at the screen from the same side as the projector. For Halloween decorations, you can use this kind of projection to project on things like a garage door or a wall, or even something like a tombstone or some other decoration. Now, another way to use a projector is to do a rear projection, and for that it's the same idea, but the audience who's looking at it are on the other side. A great way to use rear projection for Halloween decorations is to project images into your window. You can keep the projector inside the house where it's safe and dry, but then project really neat videos up onto your window to make it look like you have ghosts or some other scene in your house. I'll show you some examples of each of these ways of doing things in a bit. Now, another way that you can use the projector is either front or rear projection, but if you project onto a surface that is semi-transparent, then no matter where the viewer is, we'll say they're on the same side here, they're seeing the image that's being projected. Let's say it's a smiley face being projected, but they're also seeing the background. This is a great way to make the effect of having floating ghosts or other creatures that seem to just be floating in your yard. So the good people at AAXA sent me an HP3 Halloween projector to try out. And so this is the one I'm going to use to demonstrate all of these methods for projecting. There are a lot of great surfaces to project onto, whether you're doing front projection or rear projection or the floating illusion. And I'm going to show you a few of them and a few techniques. So the first one is this mosquito netting. It's very transparent, and if you look really closely, it's just like screen. You might even be able to use tulle, but you can see through it very easily. You'll see that it catches the light very well in a projection. That's for the floating ghost illusion. Now, the next thing is, what if you want to do a rear projection into your window? Well, you need to put some kind of screen in the glass to catch the projection. And one of the simplest things to use is just tissue paper. You can just get this at the dollar store. Another thing you can use is a thin white plastic tablecloth that you get at a party store or the dollar store. The folks at AAXA also sent me this nice semi-transparent projection screen. You'll see that this is kind of a cross between the mosquito netting and something like the tissue paper. It is very transparent, so you can see through it and hang it up in windows or as a floating ghost illusion. It has grommets all along the outside, so it's pretty sturdy. And it says that it's specially made to reflect LED projections brighter than other surfaces. So we'll give that a try as well. Now let's see how we can use them. First, let's take a look at the mosquito netting and how I mount that up as a screen. I've just stapled it between two long 1x2 boards that I've painted black. You can see I just wrapped it around and stapled it along the side. The end of the boards are sharpened a little bit, just so they're easier to stick down into the ground. The ground where I live is really hard right now, so I wasn't able to push the wooden stakes in. So instead, I put in a piece of rebar. Then I lined up the wooden stake with it, and then I just used some wire to twist tie it on. You could just use regular twist ties or zip ties. I just used a piece of scrap wire. Then I just did the same thing with the second support beam. And this is what it looks like set up. You can see that it's very transparent. You can see the bushes and the walkway right behind it. It is noticeable if you're looking at it in the daytime, but it will pretty much disappear at night. And here's what the effect looks like at night. Now, the HP3 Halloween projector comes preloaded with 6 different scenes. You can see that the hallusions look pretty nice because you can see them, but you can still see right through to the house and everything behind it. So it gives the illusion of a floating ghost. Now, the HP3 also has an audio out port, so you can use an aux cable to connect an external speaker or sound system. But it does have a pretty nice speaker built into it that sounds great by itself. Before we look at the other methods for projecting, let's take a look at the projector here. Again, this is the AAXA HP3 Halloween projector. First of all, it's very small. I love how little it is. And over here, it has headphone, that's audio out. It's got AV in, HDMI, USB, and there's a little tiny TF card. Now this is super exciting because it comes preloaded with 6 spooky scenes. And they're hallusions. Now what a hallusion is a video that's been made where the background is black. And so you can project it against any surface and the only thing that will show up is the image itself. Now a couple of these are not hallusions. They're actual scenes. And you can just project those onto any surface. And it's kind of like a little movie. Now let's talk about doing a rear projection into a window. So for this, again, I'm going to use the tissue paper I got from the dollar store. I'm just going to unfold a sheet and lay it out as flat as I can and just tape it on with some Scotch tape. And now I'm just going to continue to add additional pieces until the entire window is covered. I'm going to be careful to not overlap the sheets because areas that you overlap will allow light to come through a little bit differently and you'll see them as seams. For this demonstration, I'm only going to put 4 sheets up. I'm not going to cover the entire window, but the best thing to do is try to cover the whole window. And here's what it looks like from the inside. One of the disadvantages of this method is that you can't really use the window. You can't see through it while it's up. Let's take a look at it from the outside. Now let's set up the rear projection for it. In the settings on the HP3, it's really easy to just switch the angle of projection to tell it whether you're on the ceiling or whether you're doing forward projection or rear projection. And here it is from outside at night. You can see how bright the picture is. It's great. You can see with this method, if you get up close, you can see the gaps between the sheets of paper. But from the sidewalk where everybody's going to be seeing it, you really can't tell the difference. And it looks really incredible. Now let's see what it's like with AAXA's semi-transparent screen. I've just used some push pins and the grommets to hang this up in the window. And the first thing you can see is that it's very transparent, just like the mosquito netting. So you can still see through the window while you have this set up. Here's what it is from the outside. And normally I would take the time to pull it taut from all the sides so that you wouldn't see any of the draping. Here it is from the outside. From up close, you can see the picture's nice and bright. Now, of course, this is a hallusion, so it just looks like it's floating there in an open window from a distance. Now, the great thing is because this semi-transparent screen can work both for rear or front projection, it looks great from even inside the house. Perfect for a Halloween party. One creative way to use the projector is on a tombstone to make it look like there's a ghost. You can also project it on other decorations. I hope this gave you some ideas on how to use a projector in your own decorations. And a special thanks to AAXA for sending the HP3 Halloween projector for me to try out. But one last thing, what do you do with your Halloween projector when it's not Halloween? Well, it is a normal 720 HD projector. And with the HDMI input, you can use it to project anything from video games to, I don't
Welcome back
know,
to another video.
YouTube.
One of the coolest things about ghosts
I'll put links to both the projector and the semi transparent screen in the
back
description
then
below.
never
If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. And until next
seen a
time,
Halloween cape
don't
ghost
be
video.
bored, be
They did a
creative.
really good job.